The purpose of the videos is to get you to think. Turn your brains on and think. And use logic and use reason and realize that religion is fake. Now today is May 10th, 2020. And what's going on now is still dealing with the COVID-19, aka coronavirus. Some places are starting to open up again slowly, and we'll see what happens. You know, there's a lot of controversy going on about it. A lot of things with the 5G, the manipulation of flu viruses and inside people of the government maybe have something to do with this whole thing. There's just a lot going on. Businesses are going under. Homes are, in strapped for cash. They sent out the $1,200 stimulus checks, which, $1,200 a month, $1,200 can go like that. It can be gone before you get it. So this is what's going on today. And who knows what it's going to be like, in times to come. So we have no idea. And I'm just curious what church will be like after this, considering the fact that they're having church streaming online now and people are not in the building, but at the same time people are not so obligated to give money. Well, you can't give what you don't have. You tithe off of what you make. So if you're making nothing, your tithe will be nothing. If you're making less, your tithe will be lower. So you can continue to beg the people and stress them to give. But if you don't have it, you can't give it. And what I see for the new churches is the older churches. Like when I came up and you had the sick and shut in, and half of them were on the back page of the program, and you were just going to pray for them, the older churches. I think a lot of those churches are done for. They are done for. They were living week to week anyway. So, I mean, when you're talking about a church under 50 members, and it's just been in your family for years, and your church is part of the 20 families in that church, and this is going on, a lot of those older, smaller churches will be done. They will be no more. The church will switch from being that older church with the church board that made all the decisions and didn't want the input of young people. Now the input of the young people is what's going to save the churches, because the older people don't know about all of the internet things and the websites and the social medias. All the stuff that they shunned is the only way for the church to survive right now. So that's what they're going to have to go to. It's going to officially switch from the old people not wanting the young people involved until the young people are calling all the shots, because you simply don't know. You're the dinosaur now. You're the dinosaur, and this is the new thing. Church is going to shift. A lot of churches are going to be gone, which means that the mega churches can live. Some people still got that church in them. It's like a drug. I got to go to church, because they feel like they have to cleanse themselves. Got to go to the altar because they're doing stuff. It's been conditioning them that you're sinning. Even though Jesus supposedly died for your sins, you still feel like you're sinning, and somehow you might end up in hell. So you're going to have to go to somebody's altar and go up there and pray and get some hands laid on you, some anointing oil in the form of a tea on your head, something. And the mega churches, if they live as well, most of them probably will live, they might just grow. But the smaller churches are going to be gone, and the newer churches are going to be a new age church. Christianity is about to go through a shift. It's going to go through a shift. And you got some people who probably just won't go back. They probably like, well, I'm enjoying this 2-day weekend where I don't have to wake up early to be somewhere. Because even if church ain't a job, If I got to wake up and get dressed to be there and do some stuff, it's still a job that I'm paying. I'm paying the job. That's the difference with church. On your job, you get up early and do these things to get paid. With church, you get up early and you do these things to pay them. So it's like, well, I'm paying them for all this. I can do the streaming thing. I'm good with the streaming. I can go get up, go sit down, dress like this, watch a little bit, and be out. But then you got, see, because you got some pastors, they actually might teach the Bible. And some pastors, and I know of, they feed off of the energy of the people, and they hoop and holler, and they never really teach anything. They just try to stir up the little emotions that they can of those people that really don't know much. And they need the people there in order to stir them up and keep these things going. But now you're watching them with no crowd trying to hoop and holler. See, now you can't say, y'all don't hear me. Oh, you don't hear me. They hear you, but you don't hear them. That's the problem. You don't hear them, so you can't get hyped when you say something all slick and everybody supposed to go, ooh, ooh. There's nobody to say that. Unless they bring a couple people in and put them around the camera. They all around the camera spaced out so they can give the sound effects like there's a crowd there and we know ain't nobody there. I see the churches with the parking lots have, I mean, you know, a couple cars there for the praise team that's there and a little bit of people that's there, and then to make a little noise around the camera, but there's nobody there. There's no secret that the tithe and offering has declined because the whole economy has declined. So, and some gonna, I mean, maybe some might wake up and realize, wow, God isn't doing anything. Some might see that, and you still have those who are so deep into it, they're like, you know, God's working it out. And we know with a certainty that there will be those that when men figure this thing out and settle everything, they're going to say, look at God. Look at God. God did it. If God did it, it wouldn't have happened. If he did it, it wouldn't have happened. And if he didn't, if he did it, it wouldn't have taken so long to do it. But if somebody's got to be in a laboratory, you know, hours upon hours a day to figure this out, then you're a God. It had absolutely nothing to do with it. So that's how that goes with that. So that's where we are right now. The news is flooded with COVID-19. Everybody's walking around with masks on, which it seems like it's kind of stupid because half the time the mask is, you can't breathe. You can't breathe with the mask on. So you can't be getting the proper oxygen to your brain if you are sucking back in the same stuff you just blew out. So half the time people pulling the mask down anyway, or they just wear it around their neck. You wear it down low, you just have a mask, it look like something, but just to say you have a mask. And then most of them are cloth masks, and they're not going to stop a virus if there is a virus anyway. So a lot of this is kind of sham, but hey, what do I know? I'm not a doctor, right? That's my disclaimer. I'm not a doctor, so I'm just saying what I see. Some people wear masks, some people don't. Some wear masks, but the mask is not covering anything. Some have on something over their face, but it's not blocking anything. So, time will tell. Time will tell, and we'll see what happens. But we know this. A lot of churches are going to close. They can't pay them bills, okay? Let me go on. Oh, what else? I want to speak about something else as well. Before I get into that, I just wanted to do this real quick, just to make a couple of my people out there, you know, I want to get some who's and ahs. You know, back in the early 2000s, who was it? The Marvels came out with action figures called Icons. Some of y'all might know about that, and I had grabbed a couple when they had them, because you got to get the good action figures when you get them. I just wanted to show y'all this one, just for my people listening to that. Boom. The Incredible Hulk. I got a lot of the Avengers before the whole thing came out. I'll give y'all a closer view of that one for y'all to want to see that. Look at the icons. Can I get some light? Look at that Hulk. Look at that detail on that Hulk. Ooh, and they put a comic book in the back too. You see that? Icons. Never been open. This is one of the ones I have. Just wanted to show y'all to make some of my people a little jealous. I just did that. That's why I did it. That was just a little something. So, let me get back to other things I want to talk about. What was the other thing I wanted to say? This. Another thing, I'm learning a lot about how religion, people don't believe in evolution, but religion is evolving. It has to, because information is more, available. So now, see when 95% of people can't read or have access to writings, then it's kind of easier to control them because they can't go research it, and they're just believing what's being told. Now they're doing the same thing today with a lot of people, and the information is there, but they have to brainwash the people enough to not even search the information, because that information is like Donald Trump, did his people, fake news. That's fake news. So yeah, they're reporting on it, but even though the people report on it, he's already brainwashed his people into already believing that what they're saying is fake news. So there's no need to investigate it and look into it. No, why? Because it's fake news. The Trump thing is amazing because, he's fooled so many people. He's blinded so many people that they show the videos. And I'm just saying, this is what I'm saying based off of what I've seen with them, that a lot of them say they don't care. Back then, especially then, they didn't care what he had said, what he had done, they would still vote for him. No matter what. Well, when he said this, I'm still going to vote for him. Well, what if he did this? I would still vote for him. So it's like, doesn't matter. He can say and do whatever he wants to do, which he does. And they voted for him, and he became president. Now, we got re-election coming up. So now things are shifting because the pandemic is happening. He hasn't done a lot of things he said he was going to do, right? He said what? Mexico's going to pay for the wall. Mexico said we ain't paying for the effing wall, and Mexico hasn't paid for the wall. So what does he do? He does the government shutdown, where he doesn't pay these people for so many days, and in that time he saves up money to start on that wall that he told the people Mexico was going to pay for. But now your bills and everything is screwed up because you didn't get paid. Now your credit score is dropping. You're more in debt because you believe what he said, but what he said is not what he did. He made you pay for what he told you they was going to pay for. You see the switcheroo? And then they still support him. I've seen videos with people that highly support Donald Trump, but they said don't mess with Obamacare because they have thousands of dollars worth of bills with medical issues that they cannot pay. They cannot pay without that Obamacare. They said don't mess with it. But despite their lives are on the line, if he messes with it, he tried to mess with it, they still support this man. So you see the point I'm making is, even though he's saying and doing or not, he says this and doesn't do it, they still support him. You got believers out here that the religion will not do what it says it's supposed to do, and they'll still support that religion. It's not healing you, you still support it. You're supposed to be prosperous and you're not, you still support it. Your relationship, your marriage should be strong as a rock, and you're getting divorced, but you still support it. Right? Your children should be good children, but they get in trouble with the law and in school and having children early, and they're disobedient, but you still support it. They still support the religion no matter what. And like with Ken Ham, the guy that built the Noah's Ark theme park and took millions of dollars to build it, a theme park about Noah's Ark, which is a story that's not real and couldn't have happened in any kind of way, spent money to even have dinosaurs put in there. But he was in a debate with Bill Nye, the science guy, and when they asked him about information or about evidence, Bill Nye, they asked him about would anything change, and Bill Nye was like, sufficient evidence would change my mind that, yeah, there's a God, right? And Ken Ham was like, I don't care what evidence you show me. I'm not gonna stop believing in God and what I believe in. To him, he didn't care what you showed him. He was gonna believe it anyway. That shows you this. This is more like a disease, like a mental illness, when you have already said, I don't care what you show me. I'm gonna believe this anyway. But it clearly says, I don't care, I'm gonna believe it anyway. His mind is set, and that's how a lot of believers are. During all these things going on, doesn't matter what you tell them, what you show them, they are going to believe in the Christianity myth no matter what. They're that conditioned. They are going to believe. And this is the sad part also, is that children in life have a lot to go through anyway. Children deal with a lot. And on top of that, while their young brains are developing and learning how the world works, you have the parents that allow this fear of hell to be introduced to that young mind, that for many is the one thing that keeps them trapped in this religion for the entirety of their lives, is the fear of going to a place and burning for eternity. So we can lie and say, oh, I love God, I love God. You're only saying that like you're fooling this so-called God, that you really have more of a fear of, burning for eternity than you do of this love of someone you've never seen, felt, audibly heard, or never even seen this person with another person. You have to at least, if you're going to tell me somebody is real, I mean really, you need to at least be able to see that person while you're with another person, so that other person can say, hey, yeah, I see him too. But if you're the only one that sees this person and you don't visibly see him and you don't audibly hear him and they don't physically touch you, right? Then we can assume, or that this person is imaginary. Because real people can talk to more than one person at once. And I will hear believers make stupid claims like, like I said, like, I probably say some stuff I'm saying, I'll say the same stuff all the time. And rightfully so you remember it. Well, you don't have no problem believing in George Washington or Abraham Lincoln, right? Yeah, but we're not saying that, they died and came back from the dead, or that they healed a bunch of people, or that they multiplied fish and loaves. And we're not saying that about them, which would make their story about them something not to believe. There's nothing unbelievable about their stories. But when you start talking about being born of a virgin, right? And you're talking about a star following where you were, and we're talking about you multiplied fish and you brought people back from the dead and healed blind people and deaf people and lame people and lepers, and you touch a fig tree and the fig tree withered up in a day, even though it wasn't even supposed to be producing figs in that time, which you should know that, claiming, a mustard seed is the least of all seeds when it's not. And somebody's in a funeral procession and you bring them back to life and deliver them to their mother, and then you yourself is murdered and come back to life. This is something I have to question, because these are extraordinary claims and I need more evidence. Come on, this was happening. And then when you were resurrected, a gang of other people was resurrected with you. I'm gonna need a little bit more to say this is real than talking about George Washington led an army and had false teeth, or that Abe Lincoln was about 6'3", 6'4", then was slim, right, and got shot in the back of the head. These things are not unbelievable to me. When you telling me somebody walked on water and then had somebody else walk on water and the other person sank and they lifted them up so they could walk on water and get back in the boat, that's not believable. That's not believable. That's an extraordinary claim that needs some evidence. I need extraordinary evidence. If you want, I mean, in order for me to believe that, doesn't make sense. And that's what we are. They want you to believe something. It's like they had this whole thing, right? With, let's see on this side too. My teeth. In the woke Christians group, in what they call the conscious community, there's a guy called Brother Polite. And he was supposed to have a debate with this Christian guy, whom I won't name. And it ended up falling through. There was a phone call made where Brother Polite called the guy, and the guy cuts on his camera to have it on live to show his Christian friends, oh, look, he's backing out of it. But he had certain issues he was addressing. And the issues he was addressing, I guess the Christian guy didn't want to oblige to that. So there's, the COVID-19 has kicked in now. What kind of venue we gonna have now, where you're supposed to be distancing 6 feet and what have you, and things have changed, So he was addressing certain things about the marketing, and I guess you can go listen to the video yourself, because it's probably been put out there with the Christian perspective as if, oh, he's running from him, he don't want to debate him, and that's not what he said. He's debated plenty of other people, and everything fell apart, right? So of course the Christians are like, oh, he was scared. He didn't want that smoke. He know that such and such was gonna do this to him and do that to him. And somebody asked me, like, why don't you debate him? And I'm like, why? To me, one, why would I want to debate someone that doesn't really deal in reality? Why would I want to debate someone who really believes that a serpent tricked a woman or a serpent talked to a woman? Why do I want to debate a person, right? You hear what I'm saying? They believe, you believe it's historical that a snake talked to a woman. You think it's historical that Lot's wife looked back and turned into a pillar of salt. You think Noah really got all the animals on the earth in one ark with one window and lived. They would have died from the methane gas from the waste of the animals. And all the animals could not fit on that boat. You got what? Noah and his 3 sons, and they got wives, and they built this 500-foot ark. Why would I believe? Come on, I'm going to debate somebody. I'm going to debate somebody that wants to say all these, Moses threw his staff down and it turned into a serpent. And not only that, the magicians threw their staffs down and it turned into serpents. But Moses' staff devoured, his serpent staff devoured the other serpents that were turned from staffs and then turned back into a staff. And then Moses sent all these plagues through, and then he parts the Red Sea, and all these people, about 1 million people, walk through on dry ground to the next side, and then water comes out of a rock, and manna comes from heaven. Why would I want to debate someone who believes these things? Why? Why? And the list of things I'm mentioning just gets crazier and crazier. And these things are found nowhere but in the Bible, which is just a storybook. So why would I want to debate something that I know has never happened? So we want to debate over the existence of Zeus and his son Hercules. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. Zeus is the main god in Olympus, as El was the main god over the Canaanite pantheon. Hera is Zeus's wife. Asherah is El's wife. Hercules is the half god, half human, the demigod son of Zeus. Jesus is the half god, half of Mary, demigod son of El, which later became Yahweh. It's a whole lot of mixing there. What are we talking about? We debating about what? So without, no more than I want to have a debate about Zeus and Hercules being historical is no more than I want to debate about El, Yahweh, and Jesus being historical. It's a waste of time. And so then one of the guys in the group, one of the main jerks, you know, and trust me, these Christians are hypocrites. They are mean. They lie. They switch up. Don't believe that loving thing. It's not. They got agenda. They are not loving at all. They are mean, and these are people you really would want to deal with in real life. I'll lie to you not from what you see. And then they want to separate stuff. They do stuff over here and be like, but don't tell these people over here this, or I'll kick you out of the group. They do that in the group. But y'all loving and believing Jesus don't believe the hype. Why? I'm just saying, look, he was like, why don't you debate this guy? And I said, look, check this out. Why do I want to debate this guy? Because he wants to, he wants to go live with me. So go live with him because he wants to go live with me. So I want to go live with him because he wants to go live with me. I said, see, first of all, my audience, y'all, I said most of the audience that follows me are former Christians. They won't fall for the magic trick again. They know how the magic trick has been done, and they won't fall for the magic trick again. So no matter what you say, I said, I don't have to pull up any sources from any ancient anybody. I would just speak normally. And guess what? You all, I said, my people will be on my side because we know everything he's saying is just talk. Nobody on my side is going to believe. I don't care what he shows. We're not going to believe it. We did the Christian thing. We know what it is. We know at the end of the day that when you're finished, you still can't show me no proof of no God, Jesus, Holy Ghost. You can't show me no power that you're supposed to possess. You're not going to show me anything that sets a Christian apart from anybody else. So why? And on the flip side, everybody, if I debated you, everybody that's on your side is going to take your side no matter what I say. I can say whatever I want to say, but long as they are blinded and believe the snake talked to a woman, and Noah and Job and Joshua and Moses and David fought a giant and all, no more, as long as they believe that no matter what I say, they're going to be on your side. So what is the point? We don't have these debates, and then at the end of the debate, the Christians be like, well, he showed some good points, so I'm no longer a Christian. I'm an atheist now. And the atheist be like, well, he showed some really good points, so now I'm now a Christian. It does not happen that way. Everybody that switched has their own story of why. Whether you were an atheist that became a Christian, or whether you were a Christian that became an atheist, you have a story that didn't just happen in one day in some one debate on how you got where you got It took time, and you thought about it, and things happened, and you was thinking, and you came to where you were. Now, the people I'm talking about are the people that was in religion and left. You have a story about it. So when people come and tell you, oh, you was never really a Christian, don't tell me that, because you don't know my story. When I was the one, my parents was in the church, and we was in church all week long. And we traveled with it. They don't know your story. They sum your story up into being, well, you was never really a Christian. You don't know a person's life to have the right to say you were never really a Christian when you don't know how that person grew up and what they went through and how they thought and what they went through when they left the religion. You don't know the psychology of what they went through to have to leave the support system or the thing that they thought was real all their life to find out it wasn't. And everybody that they love still believes it and rejects them. You don't have that right to sit there and say something stupid like, you was never really a Christian. That's stupid. It's selfish, and the people that do that because in their mind, they can't accept what you're saying. I just can't see how you can say there is no God. And so in their mind, they have erased you out of it and totally turned it into, well, this is why you left, because that's what soothes them. A lot of women in church like to get married, and it has nothing to do with the guy they're dealing with. They already have a whole scenario they've made up. They've made up a whole Barbie and Ken scenario about being married and having the children and living this type of life, or if they already got children and bringing in the stepdaddy and then having some more children and living this type of life. And the same way my face is here, block my face out, the face could be anybody's face. So all it is they meet this guy, has nothing to do with that guy. It's the idea they've been holding for years about having this certain type of life, and that guy shows up and they slide that guy into the spot that they had of that perfect life. Then they quickly marry somebody because you can't be unequally yoked. And that has never worked in the Christian church, right? That's never all that unequally yoked crap, right? So what happens is they marry somebody, then find out, well, one, Christianity is not real. There's no spirit, no Holy Spirit that makes you act right, that makes you do things right. Either you do things right or you don't based on yourself. It has nothing to do with some outside force, some outside ghost making you do something. So the person is who the person is, and they're going to be who they are, and they don't act according to the plan that you had. They don't act according to the Cinderella story that you had made up in your mind, and then you find out they're messing with somebody else, or they're not working a job like you thought they was going to work a job. You doing all the work, and they sitting at home chilling, playing a PlayStation, or running women, or what have you. It goes both ways, I'm just saying, and y'all end up splitting up. Oh, we was unequally yoked. But why you didn't see that from the beginning? Because you had a preconceived notion that just because you were both saved and believed in Jesus that this thing would work. And it didn't. The person you dealt with was not some figure or some Prince Charming or some kid action figure. You were dealing with a real person. And it didn't work out. Real life. Christianity fools you into thinking that these things just going to work just because we got this person is going to work. The family that prays together stays together. That's a lie. They break up too. The family that prays together gets divorced too. That's the truth. There is no formula for staying together. You got a bunch of atheist couples don't believe in no God and stay together. So what do they formally got to do with being unequally yoked? You can meet the right person that works. I've seen people, you've had a Christian and Muslim live together. And it works. If it works, it works. Some people you're just not meant to be with all your life, and that's just how it works. Some people you meet, they are in crossing. Some people are there for you for a time, and some people are there for life. That's how it works. That's why you got some friends. You've been friends since elementary school and you're still friends. Since middle school and you're still friends. Since college and you're still friends. And you got some people y'all was friends for 6, 7 years and you split apart. You might shoot a text, hey, how you doing? Fine, 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 fine. But y'all ain't the best of friends. That's how life works a lot of times. Some things are supposed to be lifelong, some things are supposed to be in crossing. That's why when I see people in the road rage situations, oh, they cut me off, this person cut me off, and they get out of the car and they fight, and then this person shoot that person, this person dead, you in prison, and something that was supposed to be a crossing moment. Crossing moment. Fuck you, ah! Boom, crossing moment, and you both live. And you went on about your business, not get out of the car, you, pow, shoot them, they dead, you in prison. That's that story. That's how life works. So sometimes you marry people that were supposed to be crossing. They supposed to have been this, and you're like, oh no, come on back. We're gonna make this work. Only later to do this. It's life. You can't call it. And I'll tell you this. And this is you want to talk about real life, Bible, real life. Listen to Cameo's song, Back and Forth. Come on, somebody talk to me. Cameo's song, Back and Forth. Back and forth and forth. Back and forth and forth. There's a special kind of person. Sometimes she's not all she seems. Look, don't tell me nothing if you ain't heard that song. Whoever wrote that song been through that. They lived that. That was real. That song is real. Back and Forth by Cameo. That song is real. They was in love. They've been hurt. They know the life. Whoever wrote that, they knew what they was talking about. Believe that. So that's how life works. You know what I'm saying? So, unequally yoked. We see Christians getting divorced all the time. You know, brother such and such and sister such and such getting a divorce. What? All the time. Ain't no thing now. Ain't no thing now. So, well, look, the point is I just wanted to discuss a few things. No real topic, but just discuss a few things in this time of us being on this time we're in right now, and we don't know what's going to happen. So, you know, we living and seeing what's going to happen. I mean, that's it. You just got to live and see what's going to happen. And for those thinking Jesus coming back, he ain't been came back. You can't come back if you ain't never came the first time. It's like they had the old black story where the lady asked her daughter, "Baby, you want what does she say? Baby, you want some no, she said, baby, you want some lasses on your pancakes?" And she said, "No, mama, molasses." And she said, "Baby, how you gonna have molasses if you ain't had lasses the first?" I say that to say this. Jesus ain't came the first time to come back a second time. You got to come the first time to come back a second time. And the only thing that fits that description is the sun. The sun comes, the sun comes every day, and the sun leaves. The sun dies, the sun comes back to life. The S-U-N, the sun comes and it leaves. The day and night, the yin and the yang. You know what I'm saying? The Horus and the Set. That's what it is. Day and night, yin and the yang. That's how it works. So, and I'm glad that the videos are helping those of you out there. I'm glad it's giving you some equipment to fight against people who are coming against you and saying things. It gives you something to say back. So you don't have to just be totally quiet. It gives you something to say back to them. And if you ever want to deal with religious people, stay in the realm of reality. That's the one realm they cannot step into. The realm of reality for believers is like vampires stepping into the sunlight. Vampires cannot step into the sunlight because it burns them, so they stay in the darkness. And that's what religious and Christian people do. They have to stay in the darkness of knowledge, the darkness of things. They cannot come into the sunlight of what's really going on. They live inside a box this big and think it's the world. They think it's the world. but it's just a box that's this big, and they think it's the world, and and that box is filled with darkness. And once you start to give them light, they don't want that light. Jesus isn't real. They hate that. When you start talking logic and reason to them, they will not talk to you. Hear what I'm saying? They will not talk to you. They will attack you. They will lash out at you, but they will not allow what you're saying to penetrate their mind in that small little box full of darkness, because they enjoy that. They think that's the world. Think I'm lying? Do it. Start talking to them about their Jesus not being real and watch what happens. Your family member, they will attack you. They will attack you. That's how it works. Cognitive dissonance. They can't live with it. Religion is a bunch of crap. So look, so with that being said, I'm out of here. I'm giving y'all this video. I mean, I'm still working on some other stuff. I mean, I'm busy myself. This is a crazy time. I'm busy myself, y'all. So, but I'm trying to give you something to, keep you going. And like I say, stay strong and share the videos. And we can't really always wake people up, but we can be there for them when they start questioning. When they start questioning, that's a good sign. Have something to say to them. Ask them questions. Don't just drill stuff into them. Ask them questions, because questions are not as forward. Questions is something you just give them, and it's just something you give them to allow them, yet again, to deal with themselves and deal with their minds, and their minds actually start working and start thinking. So if you was born a Muslim, if your parents were Muslims, and they taught you Islam, would you still be a Christian? Are you a Christian because your parents are Christians and they taught you Christianity? They took you to children's church and they taught you all of those things? I mean, is that why you're a Christian? Or did they do like how Samuel was done and God called Samuel? Have you read the entire Bible? So what do you believe in if you haven't read the whole book? Well, what do you know about Christianity? Have you researched its origins? When did it start? You gotta ask questions to make their minds start questioning themselves, because when we doing this, Jesus ain't real. No, yeah. Then they defensive, got the shit, they don't want to hear nothing. But once they by themselves and they come to you and say, look, I want to ask you a question about something. When they have a question about something, feed them more questions. I'm not saying you can't. You can give them information, but don't give them too much information. Feed them more questions. And let them question themselves while they're by themselves. Because think about how you came out of it. The same way you came out of it, they're coming out of it. And they're coming out in droves. And we want to support them while they come out and give them a support system, because they're not going to find it with a lot of their family members and friends, because they're Christians and they're in that little box full of darkness, and they want you to stay there. Misery loves company. They want you to stay there. All right, y'all. So with that being said, I'm out of here. I will see y'all on the next video. I'm out here. Peace.